All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. We are officially here live for Tesla's 10/10 event. You are probably either on the West Coast joining at 7 p.m. Pacific, on the East Coast joining at 10 p.m. Eastern, or in other parts of the world, if you're in India like I am, you are joining at 7:30 a.m. in the morning. But you got to do this, right? You got to be here no matter who you are. If you own Tesla stock, don't own Tesla stock, it doesn't matter. This is the Tesla 10/10 event. This is the biggest event so far, I think, that has been announced for the year in the stock market. Tesla, obviously one of the most important companies in the world. We've been talking about 10/10 for a long time. Originally, it was 8/8. Now it's become 10/10. But it's live and it's going to be happening in about 8 minutes. We have some details on the event. I found out some stuff this morning as I've been trying to figure out what to expect. Apparently, the event should be about an hour. Elon will be speaking. They will be announcing new products, as Elon mentioned last night on Twitter. And hopefully, and I've been saying this for the past couple of weeks, but it's kind of my thesis on the event. Either we get specific details on the new product rollout, and the street can price that in, put it in their valuation models, get some new price targets. They can fall in love with the story and fall in love with the numbers, or we kind of get some nice ideas, no real numbers to back it up, no real timelines to back it up, and the street is left worrying about when it's actually going to launch. So I think today is going to really be a question of, does Tesla have the specifics to back up the juice of the announcement? We know they have the technology. Now, do they have the execution on the rollout? And if they do, I think it's going to be pretty exciting. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I'll have some special guests joining me on the show today, and we will get started in just a little bit and talk after the stream is done about the implications of what this means. I had a pre-wedding ceremony last night in India, so got back home around 12:30 a.m., slept by around 1:30, so I'm up, I'm ready, I'm excited to go. It actually worked out. I usually wake up pretty early. I've been waking up pretty early every single day that I've been in India, and so the fact that the event is early my time, it makes it possible to be live and do what we have to do. Thank you, everybody, for being here. We got John, Jake, Gene, Derek, Cliff, Mo, Robert. It's not my birthday, but thank you all for the pre-birthday wishes. Let's bring up one of the guests we have on stage with me here today. Mr. Vince is bullish. What's up?
I'm prepared for this event.
Dude, I got to get these glasses. I have to get these glasses.
It's freaking awesome. It's freaking awesome. So here we go. Yeah, I'm excited for this event. It's freaking 4 a.m. here in Sweden. I don't know what I'm doing. This is when your
Vince, now I know what you feel like, because you know how you wake up early for Palantir Weekly? I'm waking up early to I don't like this, dude. I like being in the States. I don't like this.
Yeah. I'm thinking about the same. I'm like, I need to move, or Elon needs to change his behavior. Needs to do the event much earlier. What time is it in India over there?
7:30 a.m. So it's not too bad. It's not as bad as 4 a.m.
What are you complaining? 7:30. I would pay money if it's
Dude, I'm really excited. I hope you guys in the chat are excited. First of all, let me do the iconic pump or dump poll. Let's do that before it starts. So pump or dump. We're going to really have to use Robinhood overnight trading to be a proxy because there's no Tesla futures. And so I'll keep you guys updated on what happens when it opens. But Vince, what are your thoughts? What do you think is going to happen for this event?
I saw this meme on Twitter where somebody was like, all the Tesla investors right now, and they were sweating, and there was two buttons, like buy Tesla at 2:30 before the event, or buy it at 200 or 300 after the event, And that's exactly how I feel. Like the event might go super well, and then buy cheap Tesla stock, or Elon can say, as you said in the intro, like indefinite things and plans for the future, and then we're gonna tank, I think.
So you think it's a sell the news?
No, I think it's either. Like if
you got to pick one. Yeah, of course it's either, but you got to pick one.
I would guess sell the news. It's going to be sell the news, but I think that's very typical for Tesla stock. But yeah, anything can happen.
Okay. We also have Couch Investor with us. Couch, I think, is the earliest investor in Tesla out of all of us, investing about 2018. Neil, thank you for joining. Pump or dump for you on this event?
I think pump. I don't know. I came into this, by the way, good morning to all of us. I think
it's like 3 a.m. your time, right?
Now 4.
4
Same as me.
Yeah. Wonderful. He better not screw this up. You better screw this up. But I think pump, based on the things that I've seen the last couple of hours, I don't know. There's just so much pumping from some Tesla insiders, from I don't know, everything that I've seen from people that are already there. It seems like they have something to show us that nobody knows about. I don't know. That's my feeling about this. But I could be very wrong. Could be very wrong. I hope I'm not.
I am going with pump, baby. I'm going with pump. I think the hype is real. I think it's been way too long. I think they've delayed it because they were trying to get all the things right from 8.8 because they had so much to say. And I think we'll get some specifics. And I think if we get some specifics, the market's finally going to realize this is the best real world application of AI. And if that's the case, hopefully we pump.
So I'm the Gordon Johnson of the stream here, it seems like.
Yeah, pretty much. Do you think the event's actually going to start in 2 minutes? Or do you think that's not even going to happen?
That was my fear as well, that they start extremely late, not on time, and I'm completely screwed with my sleep cycle. Forget about getting back to sleep anytime soon. Hopefully not, but I don't think they'll start on time, let's be honest.
The thing is, I actually kind of like that they're doing it at 10 p.m. at night because it's kind of forcing everyone to be a little uncomfortable to watch the event. Like I texted a bunch of people this morning and they're all like readjusting their schedules. And I mean, like, if it's a Tesla event, it should be one of those things that the world adapts to try to see what they have to say. The problem is if you get people out of their comfort zone to consume something and then you don't deliver, right? That's when it pisses people off.
If they do PayPal, what was the event name that ended up being a huge nothing burger?
It wasn't an event name, but the CEO said we were going to shock the world.
Exactly. So if they pull that on us, oof.
All right, so put in the chat, what do you guys think they're actually going to announce? I mean, and I'll ask you guys real quick, and I'll just I'll load this up, and if it starts, then we'll stop talking. Model 2, Cybercab, Optimus stuff. Vince, any thoughts on what they'll actually announce?
I mean, I think it's going to be. I don't think they're announcing Model 2 because then, that doesn't make sense to me. I think it's going to be some Optimus stuff and some self-driving stuff. The only thing that I'm worried about is that if they announce things that is, like rolling out in the future, like that's when I think that the event would be, because there's where I'm divided is if they have developed, full self-driving that is very safe, you can use it. Like, how come that it was not released to the cars? Or maybe it's going to be released to the cars after this event or something as part of their full self-driving, right? Like if the car is capable of intervention free without human driving, why is that not being released to the cars? So I think that maybe it's not that, but yeah, then I don't know what it is.
All right. I don't know if this is just a little preview or we're officially starting. So let's give it 30 seconds. Maybe this is... It looks like the introduction to the event. I guess we're starting. Here we go. Watch us be on this background for like 40 minutes.
Neil, what do you think they're announcing?
Yeah, so Model 2, maybe not, like the compact car, maybe not, because, I mean, we know the next generation vehicle plus affordable vehicles are going to be officially announced in the first half of 2025, because that's when they said production will start. And today's focus, it's definitely FSD related only, or only car and robot. There's definitely going to be Optimus in this presentation, but I don't think FSD is only going to be shown on regular cars. I think we're going to see maybe Tesla Semi, maybe partnerships. That would be something else if they can come out. I've seen some comments come out with, say, I don't know, Ford licensing partnership, maybe even a Chinese company. I don't know, who knows? But that would be something. But yeah, FSD and robot for sure. And then if they have like that one extra thing to show you, and then poof, compact vehicle, bam.
Guys, this
Stop
is not the
bumps.
wrong stream. This is Tesla's 2.7 million. Sorry, Neil, but this is definitely the right stream. We're just waiting for it
Yeah,
to,
yeah, yeah.
to show up. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
Okay,
the
so
earnings call music.
yeah, exactly. The semi stuff, I heard rumors as well. Do you think it makes sense to announce FSD for semis right now? Because that's not really something they can roll out soon, right?
No, it doesn't make sense, but a lot of things don't doesn't make sense. It's cool, but yeah, the semi is only for the end of 2025. So to tell us about that, it's a cool thing. Maybe they say, look, it's going to be ready when the semi starts rolling out of the factories. So that's already a pretty big deal. But yeah, I think the focus will be on FSD on cars today, plus a lot of Optimus stuff. Because I've seen some drone videos, and you see that. I mean, the event is called We Robot, so I better hope to see the Optimus guy walk out, not in a suit, but the actual robot. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I think it's going to be exciting. Hopefully not a BS event.
Yeah, and again, for those guys saying this is not the stream, this is the official stream. I promise. We are just waiting to see when it goes live. This usually happens. Most events don't start on time, to be honest. So we'll see how it plays out. Yeah, I had one friend text me that he bought 200,000 shares a day. Another friend text me that he bought 100,000 shares today. So
what kind of friends do you have? I'm in the wrong friends group here.
Dude, I don't. Well, I don't have. I'm not buying with them, so I'm not at their level.
Was this the same friend who bought like 10 million Palantir shares, or
This
that's
was
like
the same friend who bought? So this is funny.
Okay.
This is why I'm thinking, hey, maybe it's gonna work. So the same friend who bought 300,000 shares before the S&P announcement, just off the whim that maybe that it'll happen for Palantir, is the same one who bought 200,000 shares yesterday for Tesla, off a whim that this event is gonna be bullish. So I hope that that's my due diligence. He got the Palantir one right. Maybe he gets the Tesla thing right. But it's not just them. I mean, tons of hedge funds and money managers, they are loading up, or they have loaded up over the past couple of months for this moment, because this moment should change the trajectory of the company. Instead of being a hardware gross margins business that's like 17, 18%, theoretically, FSD has 80% gross margins if it actually rolls out soon. So I think the world is excited for this event. Another question is, can they deliver?
Even the stock setup is a bit funny, because normally like Tesla runs into events and then like it sells off on the news, and now it's like it ran up to 260, I believe, and then it did like have a nice pullback. So both directions would like technically make sense, because we rested a little bit. It wasn't just like we ran into the event.
I agree. Shout out to Jeremy on YouTube. Thank you for the $50 super chat, Jeremy. Really appreciate you, Jeremy, one of the OG finance YouTubers in this game. Thank you, buddy, for the $50 super chat. Oh, Jeremy's also been in Tesla for a long time. I think since like 2016. So I wonder how the OG bulls feel as well. Like it's one of those things where it's been such a long journey. FSD has been promised for years and years and years. Today, like, might finally be the day. All those interviews of Elon saying, I think it's ready by the end of the year. I think it's ready by the end of next year. And then it never happens. Today might be the day where it officially rolls out.
What do you guys think of a possible McDonald's partnership? Is that good or bad for the stock, or neutral? Good for McDonald's stock?
Neil, what do you think?
I don't see it happening. I mean, we've seen what the McDonald's things was the partnership there with the huge streamer and the chicken burger item. So I don't think so. Plus, there was that guy that made a video. I don't know if it's real or fake, but the video with DoorDash, the demo.
Oh, that's so fake. Dude, that video has gone so viral. Some dude made a DoorDash Tesla commercial as if it was a partnership, and it was completely fake. It was just satire, but everyone thought that there's this like massive DoorDash partnership.
Pretty good one. Pretty good video.
Yeah, it was a good video. It's just that is not happening. I hope they announce something around Optimus, like something special around Optimus, even if it's not part of FSD, because I think the street has not factored in robotics from Optimus at all in the valuation. Even Kathy, who's a super bull on Tesla, has not even given $1 to Optimus. So any thoughts on if you think that one actually ends up rolling out?
Inside the company, I mean,
like, do you think they announce, hey, we're gonna deploy robots into like 5 companies next year that are going to be using Optimus in their warehouses?
Too early. Too early.
Too early.
In my
That's still
opinion.
too early to you?
Yeah, because they first have to roll out quite a lot in their own company. That's going to take probably the next 12 months. But I would like to see not just the product review, but especially information around FSD, right? Miles per intervention, maybe the take rate. I know take rate might be something for financial results and stuff like that, but it's a perfect event to share a lot of details around FSD. Which, by the way, have any of you been in a Tesla with FSD supervised?
No,
No,
I have
I've never
not.
done it.
So I have, and I can tell you, it's pretty cool. I mean, it's pretty mind blowing when you just look at the driver. He doesn't do anything, and you see the wheel just turning. The car turns. It literally brought me from the restaurant to the hotel, while the driver was just sitting there talking with me, and I was like, huh, this is something cool. This is something cool. Now imagine if there's no driver in the driver's seat. That's awesome.
Yeah, we got Tesla right here, up about 2.4% on Robinhood. This is going to be the only proxy we have, guys, tonight on seeing how Tesla does. So it should hopefully get us a little bit of information. The overnight volume. Let me see if I can pull this up and show it.
How significant is Robinhood's overnight trading? Because
It's pretty significant, but the volume right now is about 159,000 shares, which I don't know. Is that a lot? Is that not a lot? Probably not a lot, but at least it's something. Yeah. So now it's 178,000. So it's heating up. I mean, usually if they become the like China, Alibaba was getting like 1 million shares overnight of volume over the past couple of days as like the China stimulus news came out. So, or the lack of stimulus news came out. So I think we will see some heavy volume today, and hopefully it's a decent proxy to the upside on what Tesla will open at in the pre-market. All right, so event slate has not started. We got this cool animation though, cool graphic. I guess here's a question: do you think if all right, here's the different question. What do you think is the cyber cab? Do you think it's the rumors we've been seeing of like the pictures that have been floating around that's silver, like a 2-seater? Do you think it's like a Tesla Model 3 but a little bit smaller? How do you think the cyber cab is actually going to ultimately be?
I think it's close to this picture that we have seen in Walter Isaacson's book. Go ahead, Neil.
No, continue.
Oh no, that's what I think. That's what I think.
Yeah, no, I agree. Plus, I mean, if we had to believe the leaks that came out, the reports that came out, it said Tesla Robotaxi will have butterfly wing doors and 2 seats. So it does make sense. Now, is it the only thing that will come out? I don't know. Potentially maybe a van. A van would be cool and make sense as well. But yeah, I mean, the picture that you're showing right now, that's pretty futuristic.
I think it had too much curves. It slows down the production.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think a lot of people also really just want to get robot updates, like Optimus updates, humanoid updates. But I think the majority of the street cares less about humanoid updates and they care more about FSD. So you got some parts of Tesla shareholders that only care about the robot. You got other parts of Tesla shareholders that need an update on FSD. And I think if they can deliver both, aka a cyber cab and maybe a new version of Optimus, which is maybe a little too ambitious, then maybe that ends up happening. Sawyer Merritt posted something. Okay, let's go to his feed on Twitter. Let's see if he has any updates for us. So this is his Twitter, and he's at the event right now. So shout out to people that are in LA. It's Tesla Theater Human Loading Zone. Kind of makes it feel like there's going to be some robotic announcements. Live stream is starting. These are people outside. These are, I don't know if this is, I think this is in California. This is this might be a watch party, but I think this is at the actual event. This is what it looks like. So this is his invite. So look at that. So Tesla Theater, Metropolis, Westworld, New York. The event is Westworld. You pick up drop-offs And then you have Metropolis pickup, drop off, Tesla Theater pickup, drop off, New York pickup, drop off. Then you get merch. So it seems like they designed a kind of like little town for the event as like the roadmap. And maybe they're going to walk you through the event in different stages of the event, or Robotaxi you through the event metaphorically as they announce a bunch of different things.
Yeah, that could be the demo. I mean, we
Yeah,
could see
or
robots
yeah,
walking and then going to the car or something like that. I mean, they're doing it in the Warner Brothers studios, so I think you can do whatever your mind imagines.
Yeah, look at
But
that.
Westworld, I don't know. If you watch the TV show, it doesn't end well for the robots.
Dude, Westworld season 3 was horrible. Like season 1 and 2, amazing, and then it just fell
Yeah,
off. Like I couldn't even
not
get
even
through.
talking about 3. I think there's even 4, no? Or maybe
Yeah,
I'm just yeah, but
yeah, it's a bit ridiculous. This Joe Gebbia, who is the
co-founder
Tesla
of
board
Airbnb.
member. Yeah, apparently he co-founded Airbnb and he's on the board of Tesla. I didn't really know this guy, but he says, if you think you know everything being shared tonight, think again. Either he's just hyping it because he's on the board of Tesla and he wants his Tesla shares to go up, or legit, there's something that we don't know. And if that's the case, it'll be exciting to see.
Okay, so panel disclosure. So what do we own of Tesla here? Who has what interest?
Dude, I have like 5 shares of Tesla. I don't have my position has been, my portfolio has been consolidated to Hood and Palantir this year. And the goal for me has been to get liquidity from that. Hopefully, if things go well this year, to then start building the Tesla position, primarily based on robotics. I mean, like that's really my Tesla thesis. FSD is cool, but robotics and energy is more exciting to me. I do have one physical share of Tesla. Shout out to Derek, who sent me a physical share of Tesla. That he sent me at $183 on the like gift to share websites. So I have that back in the States, and that one is up 30 to 40% right now. But yeah, not a heavy Tesla shareholder, and hopefully next year I will get to be a Tesla shareholder. Neil?
Still the biggest position in the portfolio. Not by that much because of all the rest that kept moving. But yeah, it's still number 1 in the portfolio. So yeah, a move down will move the performance of this year. A move up will definitely move it. I would prefer if it goes up. But I mean, it's already up 35% in the last couple of months based on a lot of baked-in expectation, I would say. Q3 deliveries, margin bottoming out, maybe also some Robotaxi stuff. So yeah, this is going to be something. But yeah, since it was one of the stocks that I bought with incredible timing, it's number 1 still.
When did you start buying it, Neil? What price was it?
I bought August 2019, the first big chunk. So yeah, since then that chunk has gone up by, what is it, 1500% or something?
Wow.
So
and you held it.
Yeah, and I added, okay, I sold as well to take profits. I mean, it's been 5 years, up 1500%. I'm not going to lie and say, no, I didn't touch. No, I profited.
Who can blame you? Who can blame you?
So,
do you sell covered calls on the position at all, or no?
Don't do options at all. Although every time I listen to you guys, I'm like, maybe I should get into this and then learn a bit more, especially now also with Palantir's price, maybe play around with that. To play both sides a little bit, but no,
It's
I'm
funny.
just a buy shares guy.
I can tell you something about options, which maybe Amit can agree or disagree, but they're fantastic for cash flow. But I think that if you pick good stocks, you make better money. But you don't. But you don't like for example, I sold covered calls on my Palantir position. I regret it. I sold covered calls on my Rocket Lab position. I regret it. They're not making my portfolio look better, and now I have to like get out of them somehow, which I know how to do, so it's going to be okay. But when you pick good stocks, it's like you make a lot more money. So if you're young and you don't need cash flow on your investment, then I don't think you need to look into options. And if you're someone who, yeah.
Vince, I was going to say, you came on my channel like a year ago telling me that you sold out of Tesla and you explained your logic behind it. And I'm assuming that's still the case. You didn't buy back into Tesla.
No, but I did sell put options before this event because I thought that there would be like a huge run up, and that was a nice cash grab. And Tesla is a stock that I'm looking to add to my position depending on this event and where the price goes, or would like to wheel on.
So I agree. That's my idea. My idea is next year, I want to sell puts on Tesla. I mean, even today, I was going to make a post about this, but I didn't get a chance to post it. You could have sold like a $215 put expiring in a month and got like 4% on it.
Did exactly that. I did 200 puts when the stock price was like 210 or something like this, and got 4 or 5, and I got extremely lucky. Like it had a run up to like 230. Then I took profits, and then it was like in one day it was like minus 7%. Like literally the day after I bought back my put, and then I sold it again, the same one, and then I just let it run. So
and you actually had good timing on the sell because you sold before Tesla fell all the way to 130 in April. Like you sold in January of 2024.
Yeah. And I got super much hate for it, and then I bought Rocket Lab from that, and oh my god, I wish I could do a video of all the comments that I got for people like, this is going to be the worst decision of your life. Like, see you back here. And yeah.
I mean, both of those, Rocket Lab and Planet, are up triple digits, no? Percentage.
Yeah.
So
it's crazy.
If
I wouldn't have my covered calls, my portfolio would be up like 200 some, like some insane amount this year. I started, my portfolio was I think it's like 120,000. I started in 2022 with this long-term investing and not trading, and if you would take out the cover calls from my portfolio, it's like 600,000.
Right.
With the covered calls, almost 400,000. So it's I'm 200,000 like underwater with the covered calls.
Yeah, and I think the thing about selling covered calls on a stock in an uptrend, which Tesla has started to form after that breakout in July, is like it's tough because any announcement like today could cap your profits. Some people think it goes to 300, other people think it goes to 200. But if it does get closer to 300, a lot of those covered calls get called away, you know?
Yeah.
And so it's going to be up to Elon if he ever starts this event for us to figure out what happens. But we will see. Do you think it's bad that they're this late, 20 minutes, or you think it's just par for the core?
It's Tesla. It's Elon time, baby.
Okay, let's listen to Dan Ives. Some of you guys might have heard it today. Some of you guys might have not. I actually have not heard this at all. So let's get his take on what he thinks is going to happen with Tesla.
Costs. I don't know. I want some details here. Are you going to get them?
Yeah, I think it's actually going to be heavy on details. I think importantly, this is really showing autonomous, in terms of true autonomous, as we go to level 4, level 5, this is really going to be a game changer for Tesla. And I think they're going to show on Cybercab and the roll-up, I think by the end of next year, this is something within certain cities that will be, ultimately a reality. And I think when you actually start to go through per mile and you look at miles driven, I think from a fleet perspective, even relative to what we see with Waymo and everyone else, I think it's a new chapter for Tesla. You do not walk away, shrug the shoulders. I think this is a game changer.
You do. All right. So do you think you're going to walk away with enough information to put a model together, a discounted cash flow model or something based on your own assumptions in terms of where this thing goes, that you can start to come to a number in terms of per share as to what it's going to mean for the company?
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's really, okay, what's the timetable? Now, clearly, obviously, some of the promises in the past have not worked out here. I think we're talking not just by the end of next year, but what's the ramp of the next few years, 3 to 4 years? What could that mean in terms of for the fleet? 6 million cars out there, potentially 8 or 10 over the next few years. What ultimately does that mean? This is pure margins. This is really building out a whole new business for Tesla. And I think we could be looking at something based on our math, 3-4 years out. This could be 20-30% overall profits.
20 to 30% overall profits for the company's profits will be from their effort here. I mean, you say that it's a represents $1 trillion of value for Tesla over the coming years. How do you get to that number?
I mean, there I just look at FSD, look at autonomous relative to cars on the road. This is not just for Tesla. It's our view that they're ultimately going to OEM this technology. And when you look at even some of the numbers out there, I mean, we could be talking about 10, 20 billion annually per year that they're starting to ultimately deliver when this ultimately gets to scale. And I don't view this necessarily as a massive threat to Uber, but just look what Uber did in rideshare. So I think when we look at the broader market here and ultimately the software driven and the margins, I view this will be a day we look back at 3-4 years from now that actually start to change the next phase of the Tesla story.
You don't worry, Dan, about the regulatory approval needed for autonomous vehicles on a state-by-state basis, which is where they're given. I guess 29 states and Washington, D.C. currently have autonomous vehicle operation mandates. And I guess there are certain friendlier states like Texas. But isn't that a factor here?
Oh, clear. Look, I think David's question on the cost per mile, that's something I'd expect to hear about. And that's important in terms of what we're looking at. Regulatory is the biggest hurdle. And I think that's something state by state on the federal side, they're going to have work cut out for them. But that is something, I think it starts tonight, but over the coming 12, 18, 24 months, I think regulatory ultimately is something that they're going to be able to sort of navigate through. And I think that's the important thing tonight, not just the technology, showing how we get there, what the roadmap is.
Do you guys agree it's a $1 trillion opportunity over the next couple of years?
Definitely. Multi-trillion, I would say.
At this point, everything's a $1 trillion opportunity with AI and robots. But when will that actually happen? I mean, when do you reach that $1 trillion? I don't know. But great talker, Dan, as always. I'm surprised he does not have a hat and some sunglasses. Didn't
Dude,
say
that guy is a fashion icon.
Cupertino or something. Yeah, for real.
Yeah, I think all of us understand how, I actually was a little bit of not a contrarian, but I was a bit of a skeptic around the concept of FSD a year ago. Where I think even Vince, I think you and I even did a Twitter Spaces where I was like, "What is the point of FSD? Like, why would?"
You kept asking me my mother going in a Tesla car and me letting the car go with my mom.
I was like, Vince, would you let your little baby girl or your mom be in a car by herself coming home from the airport? Same question. If Tesla rolls out FSD tomorrow and you can call an FSD Uber, would you let your loved ones be in it by themselves?
I mean, it's the same answer as I said back then. Like, it depends. If it has, if it has the same safety as, like, let's say airplanes or trains, then why not? I'm getting, sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I said, like, I'm getting my 4th kid in like a month. And the logistics of the family is insane. Like, it would be so amazing if there was like robotaxis that could like take the kids to school and then to hockey practice, and my little girl does horse riding, and it's insane.
Okay, Neil, would you let your loved ones get into FSD if it rolled out tomorrow?
Yeah, to be honest, yes. I already have so little trust in human drivers that I rather them go in a car that a robot controls. Well, a robot computer
Elon
controls.
posted something.
Yeah. Elon said you can watch this on your TV.
Wow.
Okay, so
thanks.
Thank you, Elon, for letting us know that it is possible to stream an event on the internet.
Do you guys think he's like sitting on the toilet and then he's like, what should I tweet about?
Oh man, I look. When it comes to me, I think that I would be skeptical to let my loved ones get into a FSD car in the beginning. I think after a couple of years of Tesla getting, like Waymo does 100,000 drives a week. When Tesla starts doing that, I would be really less skeptical to let my loved ones in. But I think their technology is good enough where it's not going to take as long for people to believe in it. Also, Tesla has a good brand appeal, right? So when people get into their FSD drives and they start tweeting about it and Instagramming about it, I think it's going to create the momentum around people thinking, hey, what is it like to be in a self-driving car? The problem is, I do agree with Dan about the regulatory hurdles because it just hasn't happened in a lot of parts of the world yet, outside of a few cities. And until it rolls out to other cities, we're just not going to know, how much it can scale yet. Person in the crowd had a medical emergency. Is that confirmed?
I'm checking Elon's feed. He doesn't say anything about that.
Oh yeah, the other person saying, yeah, a lot of people are saying medical. Someone had a medical emergency. That's why it's late.
Ah, yes, he did reply.
He replied. He said
say,
that.
Yeah. A person in the crowd had a medical emergency, so we're taking care of them before starting. He said that 4 minutes ago. So, okay. I guess.
Oh, take a look at this. Look at this. I didn't even see this poster. Look at this. Drivers, where are we going? Where we're going, we don't need drivers. Master plan part 4. That's cool, bro. That's legit. That's a picture he put out today. And then another one. It's afraid. It is totally alone. It is 69,420 miles away from home. AI, the artificial intelligence.
I mean, the
Those are
mix
cool.
between cool posters by Hollywood and Tesla stuff. It's E.T. and Back to the Future. It's pretty cool.
Yes, E.T. and Back to the Future. That's actually really cool. I mean, look, see, when you see stuff like that, you think like, all right, this is going to be a good event. They're going to hype some shit up. It's going to be like one of those things that we shouldn't doubt is going to have some big announcements. But now we're going to have to actually see if it plays out.
Apparently, I'm supposed to be on Matt Money's stream.
Oh, you ditched Matt? Wow.
No, I did not. It's very. I'm looking back at the conversation because I said like, "Are you doing anything for the Tesla?" And will we do something for Rocket Lab together? And then we were talking about the Rocket Lab, and then he sent me 2 StreamYard links. But I'm like, I didn't say I'm going on the Tesla stream with you. We were speaking about Rocket Lab, and he never answered on it either. Like I'm looking back at the comment.
Matt, basically, he's saying he ditched you for me. He's trying to be politically correct, but he's saying he ditched his fellow Rocket Lab co-star or cult member for Amit, which is okay. It is what it is. All right, what does the poll say in the chat? The poll says, I said pump or dump. Robinhood shows Tesla 242. The chat says 66% say pump, 34% say dump. So most of you are pretty damn bullish on this event and what would happen. Is Matt still live? Matt could just join us too. Is he actually live right now?
I actually, because he was in our chat here. He said,
okay,
"Rip Matt Money."
I put the StreamYard in the chat. So Matt, just if you're not live, just join us.
Let me check if he is.
Oh yeah, somebody writing here. Do you think they'll talk about Grok integration in the car?
Okay, so here's a good question. How many people in the chat use Grok on a daily basis? Starting with you, Neil. What are your thoughts on Grok?
To be honest, not on a daily basis. I used it today to generate a picture, but no, I usually actually use Gemini because I have a Pixel phone as well. So yeah, not
Gemini. You're like the first person I hear to use Gemini.
I'm a full Android guy, so maybe that's why.
I became addicted to ChatGPT. Like lately, I'm using it like, I don't know, like 25 times a day. I was actually thinking to start testing if Grok can do the same. But yeah, I'm a paid person for what do you call it? Like I'm signed up for their pro version or whatever it's called.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Grok.
Yeah, for ChatGPT. Yeah.
Oh, for ChatGPT. Yeah, me too. I think Grok's getting better. I don't use it every single day, but it's getting better. It's way better than it was a couple months ago. A Grok integration into Optimus or FSD makes a lot of sense, or into Tesla, like the actual cars. Like I feel like I think he has to do that. If XAI is worth 24 billion, there has to be some use case for Grok, right? Outside of just a chatbot. And I think that would be it. I don't know if it's time to announce that yet. I feel like maybe it's a little early. But if they do that announcement and it rolls out in like a year, then I could see that happening as well.
Perplexity is pretty cool. If you haven't tried it out, it's basically a Google search, but it actually gives you the answer.
Yeah. What do you guys think about OpenAI saying they're going to do 100 billion in revenue in 2029 or sorry 2030, but they're going to lose 44 billion to get to that? Like I saw this chart yesterday, and I couldn't believe it.
Mhm.
What are your thoughts on this?
Well, I hope based on my answers on these types of posts previously, I think this is a joke. I mean, this is and this company is worth today $150 billion based on those assumptions. It's crazy. And for what? I mean, if you've used the multiple chatbots, right? I'm not saying their tech is not great. I mean, pioneers, but when you have Claude, Perplexity, Gemini, Grok, and all of those others, I don't know. You cannot convince me. Okay, $156 billion, according to Jose. Thank you, by the way, and welcome. Yeah, I don't know. It's a joke. Plus, how can you lose that much money? And who's going to pay for all of that? For those losses? I mean, Meta is losing a shit ton on Reality Labs, but Meta is a money printing machine. ChatGPT is not.
I mean, it looks like Microsoft is an owner. Looks like Apple is investing with them. So finally, Apple finds a way how to use their cash trove that they have.
No, Apple's not investing in this.
Really? Where did I hear that?
How did you not know this news, dude? This was a big story last week. Apple pulled out.
My God, you see what happens when I'm a bit busy and not able to watch your market opens.
Yeah, you gotta watch the streams, dude. Yeah, so Apple pulled out. Another key, not a key exec, but some researcher left today. I forgot his name, but he tweeted that he left. If they actually do 100 billion in 2030 in revenue, I made a post about this yesterday. The comparables across the Mag 7 is similar revenues. I mean, Mag 7s are doing about 200 billion plus in revenue yearly on a TTM basis, so it's a little bit lower than the rest of the Mag 7, but it still is a decent chunk of revenue. The question is, those losses, I mean, like Meta doesn't lose 44 billion, you know, Meta makes, I think, close to 50 billion a year in net income. So,
but on the chart that you showed us, it was only a 4 billion loss. Where did you see the
for 2024?
Yeah.
So they are projecting 40. This again, this is not confirmed by them. This is confirmed by some reporters that talk to people, but they're saying it'll be $44 billion of a loss by 2030. Which is okay. Startups lose money before they go public, right? You're not supposed to really make money before you go public as a high growing tech company. But 44 billion is a lot of money to lose before you go public, right?
And how do you get $100 billion in revenue? I just don't understand how they think they'll reach those numbers by 2029 without thinking about every other competitor out there putting out similar tech by then. Because it's not like it's super special, right? When it came out, fine, but now in 2024, I mean, this chatbot or that chatbot.
I'm gonna actually try to compare them, because what I use ChatGPT for example, is like we study with my kids, and like we're not originally Swedish, right? And then we speak multiple languages in the household. And I noticed that the kids, like, they don't have the same Swedish vocabulary as like the Swedish kids that only grew up speaking Swedish, right? So we, like, when they read anything or when we study with them for school, it's like you have to be very careful that they to make sure they really understand, you know. And it's crazy that in ChatGPT, like, I can write in any word, and it's like explain it, and then it gives like English explanations, and it's like super easy to like get the kids to learn, you know. And then a second use case that I use it for is like I started to check all of my Swedish emails that I'm like writing to the banks, to customers, to, you know, like to make sure that like my Swedish is pretty good generally, but it's like not 100%. And then it's crazy that it can, you know, like correct, and then it tells me that like I corrected this because, you know, the grammar was off, or, you know, the spelling was off because of this. And I'm like, is Gemini and Grok, I want to test if they are able to do the same thing, because I was mind blown by ChatGPT how good it was.
It's really good. It's really good. I think that's their advantage, that they were so first. I do agree with Neil that it's a commoditized technology, but they are first. And so I guess investors are willing to give them the valuation because they're first. Eardini Us, thank you for the $10 super chat. Thanks for the hard work, Amit. Fingers crossed. Thank you for being here. Now we just have to see when this event starts. Apparently there is the medical emergency. Holmars, who's at the Tesla event, just tweeted that the medical emergency is actually very bad, and it's confirmed by Elon. And that's what's holding up the event by almost an hour at this point.
Neil, we could have slept an extra freaking hour and just come on the show now and let Amit do all this 1 hour by himself.
I could have filled dead air. I basically would have been a market open or a market close or whatever as I'm waiting.
It would have been a Good Morning India show instead.
Yeah, literally. All right. How about we do this while we're waiting? If anyone has any questions in the chat about the broader market or Tesla, you could put it in there because we kind of have nothing to do until this thing starts. So any questions, could be Tesla related, could be market related, let us know.
I have a question. When is a freaking pullback coming? I've never seen such a resilient bull market. It's like for like a month and a half, I was like, okay, we have to have a pullback now. And every time I open Interactive Brokers or the stocks, everything is green all the time. Or maybe it's just my stocks, but it's like I've never seen such a rally.
So, you know what's interesting today? I tweeted about CPI at 6 p.m. my time, which was 8:30 Eastern, and then I had to go to like that wedding ceremony. So the last two pieces of news I got on the markets were CPI and jobless claims. I don't want to get super macro right here, but CPI did deaccelerate in terms of inflation at 2.4. Jobless claims was a big miss. We lost, or we had 30,000 more jobless claims than expected. So the point is, I thought the market would get hit off those two pieces of news. And then slowly, the market, takes a little bit of a hit in the pre-markets, and then boom, as Vince says, just like moves on. I think people are now convinced that earnings are going to be good for Q3, that a recession so far doesn't seem like it's that likely because we do have enough jobs and inflation is coming down. The Fed's going to cut rates, even if they don't cut rates as aggressively. And this whole pullback that Vince is talking about, like 10, 15% correction, maybe it's a 2025 thing versus end of 2024, just given that once we get through the election, you tend not to see that much volatility to the downside in the last months of the year, unless, earnings suck.
I just don't get it's like I look at Palantir and then I'm like, can this stock go down? Like, does it really only go up? Like is it broken or something? And like many stocks, I'm like, okay, but what's the risk reward? Because it's like it seems like everything is priced to perfect, or like the ones that I'm looking at.
Yeah, it's hard to buy stocks right now. I mean, things are. Elon just said a person in the crowd had a medical emergency. We have taken care of them and will be starting shortly. Okay, so he's just confirming what we knew. Okay, yeah. So I think it's hard to buy stocks right now unless you're averaging up on some positions that you already bought, because getting a new entry like Meta at 600. I love Meta. I think their growth is going to be massive over the next decade, but buying in at 600 just feels tough, when this whole year you've had other opportunities. So Neil, what are your thoughts on the bull market, and do you think it can continue?
Well, I mean, earnings season is about to start. You have elections in the US in less than a month. I think we can expect some volatility in the coming weeks, but there are still some companies. I mean, Meta, you said Meta, it's true. And I'm a holder of Meta. It's also one of my largest positions. It's true. It seems expensive because it's at, close to $600. It's gone up quite quickly. But I did previously a reverse DCF. And the implied growth rate is 5, 6, 7% or something like that for free cash flow in the next 10 years to justify today's price. Not that bad, right? Because it's an amazing company. It's expected to grow even more. Like you said, I mean, trading 12 months free cash flow close to 50 billion, and that's expected to grow in each and every year. So Meta, I mean, there are still companies that are, let's say, fairly cheap, or that I would buy today. For example, Alphabet being one, despite all the DOJ talk. So yeah, a lot of things might seem expensive, but I'm pretty sure there are still quite a lot of stocks you can buy for
and see, that's price. The thing. That's the thing. Even though they seem expensive, if they're actually going to put up the growth over the next 5 years, like maybe you'll get pullbacks, obviously, and you'll get different retracements and stuff, but
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't feel like 2022 at the top in January where we're buying and then we have to go through a 30, 40, 50, sometimes 70% drawdown on names just because the cash flows are real. I think a lot of people are very eager to say this is a top, it's getting too frothy, yada, yada. And my response to this is two things. A, you have to compete with cash earning 5% interest on the sides in money market funds, high yield savings accounts. So it's not easy for cash to allocate into the stock market if it has an alternative. Meaning that if people are allocating to the stock market, it's not just hype. It's because they genuinely think that the cash flows and the profits by these businesses are meaningful. And number two, AI is a massive tailwind that is actually affecting every business. And like this is just seen in the data. Regular companies are getting productivity boosts because of AI, which should help their earnings. And we're already seeing it in a variety of different companies. So those two tailwinds, I think, are strong for the next couple months and definitely over the next couple of years.
Yeah, I agree. What do you think about, if we can pivot to that, about the whole Google antitrust thing?
Vince, any thoughts on that? Do you think Google gets broken up?
It's really not my area, this one. I don't know. I think it's like really weird timing that, ChatGPT is like eating their lunch and, they're losing market share and then they get sued for being a monopoly yeah. I feel like it should be like the how do you call it? Like to defend the case, it's like getting easier as time goes on.
Yeah, I agree. I think breaking up Google would be kind of stupid. I think that I saw a good post the other day that if a lot of the search revenue subsidizes the other parts of the business like cloud, Android, YouTube, etc., and then they become separated and search starts to decline, then you have an issue with Google. And I think that's why it's cheap right now at 21 times earnings, because people are really afraid that they get broken up and ChatGPT kind of steals some of the search revenue.
Question, like you guys all use AI, like did it like lessen your usage of Google, or like how is it? I mean, you're using Gemini Neo, so yeah, that's the answer to that.
Yeah, but it's using Gemini does hurt them in a sense because I'm clicking on way less links. I still use Google. I mean, I use Google Chrome, I use Google Search to search for places or products or whatnot. I use Gemini to get like a conversation going on with the AI, overloads and get instant answers, calculations, stuff like that done. But yeah, for sure, my time spent on Google Search has come down because now I don't have to ask the question to Google Search. I asked it to Gemini or whatever other chatbot you can mention.
Yeah. I've been using ChatGPT a lot more, using Google a lot less. I still use YouTube and email and Chrome and all that stuff, but search is a little bit less. Let's talk about this one because we haven't talked about this in over 50 minutes, which is a record for me. Vince, is this company ridiculously overvalued, or is the hype real and Palantir is the stock of the century? What do you think?
I mean, it's a very interesting question because it's like, let's put it this way. Like, I think that buying at these prices, like your cash, the risk reward ratio is very not in your favor. Like that's all I can say about it. Like, because to get the price to here, I think that they need to be growing like, I don't know, 35-40% just to get the price here, and maybe they will be for the next 10 years, but that's a really big ask. I don't have it in my model, so for me it's I'm not selling. I'm not selling. I have cover calls that I would like to roll up, but I would not be buying at these levels.
The Derpy Rock says it is now 1/3 of Salesforce's market cap. Salesforce does $40 billion in revenue a year. Palantir does less than $3 billion. Neil, what are your thoughts on Palantir's valuation?
I mean, yeah, there was a whole conversation about this today. It's expensive and could be viewed as overvalued, but if you say overvalued, you have to explain why it's overvalued. Look, it's definitely not cheap. Let's be honest. It's definitely not cheap. I tweeted out before because Data Driven Investing tweeted out the same thing. He did a reverse DCF. he got an implied growth rate for free cash flows at 35.8%. I got 25% for the next 10 years to justify today's price.
That's
So yeah,
crazy.
it's high.
Yeah.
No, it's high, but and if you've seen Emir's video where he explains his full model, you can see that the value of Palantir is terminal, meaning even if he showed that even if this year and next year free cash flows are at zero, it doesn't change much in the actual number, the outcome that he's getting for the value of the share today, because all the growth is coming later down the line. Despite Palantir being a 20-year-old company, the actual business, the cash flow business that we see today, it's just the start. Of course, these are based on assumptions that you're making when you're making those models. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, to conclude, yeah, it's definitely not cheap, and I'm not buying today.
Yeah, so my thoughts on this are simple. I do agree it's expensive, not overvalued, because overvalued implied that these multiples don't deserve to be given. I think the multiples do deserve to be given. You're just paying a hefty price for the multiples. My like kind of core thesis on this is I think pretty logical. If Q3 earnings show an acceleration of 35 to 40%, not only is this justified because they're likely going to be guiding for that into the future, but you'll probably see the multiple expand just because people will be so hyped that they found something that can compound aggressively. If they don't grow at those levels, maybe it's 27%, maybe it's 31%. I think it's 50-50 then, because I think that 30% ARR top line is such a psychologically strong number for SaaS companies, and Palantir hasn't achieved that for over 3 years. So that's going to be a big deal if they get there. However, the stock's up a lot, in the past couple months. So that big deal, it's kind of already factored into the price, and then some, as you said, Neil, like it's factored in a lot of growth into the future. So I think if we grow like crazy, we can see multiples expand. If we don't grow like crazy, do we have to have a 50% correction? I don't think so, because I think too many people want to buy the stock, especially because I think institutions are getting involved. So if we have earnings and not an amazing earnings, I think max pain is closer to 34, 35, not 24, 25. And if that's the case, I still think that's fine, So that's kind of my thoughts on how I think the thesis on Palantir is going to play out. But people are getting pretty jittery about it, to say the least.
No, we should. I mean, based on what we're seeing today, the stock price, the market cap, you would think growth should be close to 30% year over year, and anything below that would be unacceptable by the market.
Yeah, I think there's no way we can do less than 30%. We guided for 25%, but we'll probably beat that because last quarter we guided for 22 and then they came in at 27. So they're obviously sandbagging, which is good, right, for the expectations. But I just don't think if we do less than 30%, a lot of people are going to be wondering, why is there so much excitement around Palantir if the growth isn't there, right? And 2 years ago, there was still so much excitement, but it was really just a bunch of retail investors that were excited because we thought the growth would come. Now the growth is coming. And now Wall Street's waking up. They're getting really excited and they want to really see higher growth. So the expectations, it's not really Palantir's fault here. Like they didn't think their stock, I think, would go up 150% and be a $90 billion market cap in less than a year, but it's happened. And so now the question is, can they just match those expectations via the numbers? And if they can, maybe they can maintain some of these multiples we're seeing right now. For those that are just joining, yes, the Tesla event is delayed. There was a medical emergency at the event. It has been delayed for almost an hour, about 50 minutes. And hopefully it should be starting very soon, but it has indeed been delayed. Let's take a look at this while we're waiting. Here's a little bit of a debate between robotaxis and not. And let's see kind of what Brett Taylor, one of the analysts at ARK, thinks about this versus some of the more other Wall Street institutional investors.
Just a few hours, Tesla is expected to reveal its highly anticipated Robotaxi in an event called We Robot at the Warner Brothers Discovery lot in Los Angeles. But will the actual news live up to the hype? Well, joining us now is Craig Irwin from Roth MKM and Brett Winton from ARK Invest. Guys, welcome. Brett, if I can rent a ride in a self-driving Tesla for less than the cost of an Uber, why would I buy a Tesla?
it doesn't matter if you buy a Tesla if they can deliver full self-driving to their fleet of vehicles. In fact, Tesla could not sell another vehicle and just enable full self-driving on its existing fleet, and it would massively increase in value. If a self-driving taxi can do 100,000 miles a year at $1 per mile, so less than the cost of an Uber, that could drop somewhere around 50 cents to 25 cents in operating earnings to Tesla per vehicle times 100 per year. So one-time sale of a vehicle gets you maybe $5,000 in operating profit. If it turns into a robotaxi, that vehicle generates on the order of $20,000, $25,000 in operating profit per year for as long as that vehicle exists. I don't need to sell electric vehicles to people anymore if instead they're going to ride in them as robotaxis.
Craig, I'm skeptical. Rides are a commodity, and I can see the price going down and down if Waymo and others succeed at this as well. But Teslas are a premium product. How does this robotaxi product and service live up to these expectations, you think?
I think the expectations are nothing but lofty right here. The whole expectation around ADAS 4.0, you jump in a vehicle and it takes you from A to B with no operator input. That is years away. It is many years away.
That exists today. I rode in a Waymo just last week. You can do it right now.
Well, no. If you use LiDAR, if you're doing if you're using a camera-based system like Tesla is, you need to have many more cameras. And the LiDAR-based system gives you spatial.
I rode in my Tesla this morning.
All right, it looks like we're starting. It looks like we are starting.
Looks like Matt is joining us also.
All right, I think we are officially beginning, folks.
Ladies and gentlemen, here, everywhere, online, around the world, outer space, I'm Franz. And on behalf of everybody at Tesla, welcome to We Robot. Just want to thank Warner Brothers for hosting us here. As you know, this is the birthplace of many epic films, many of them depicting a vision of the future. We're here tonight to experience that future that is closer than you think. And who better than Elon, right, to show us that future? So it looks like Elon's on his way. So let's welcome him up here.
Oh my gosh, how is he gonna get here? Is he coming in a robotaxi or something? Hold on.
Well, hopefully, yeah.
Holy shit! Oh shit! It's happening, guys. Sorry about the volume. This is the max volume. This is the Tesla stream volume. Sorry about that. Uh-oh. Holy crap. Holy crap. Oh my god. Oh my goodness. What is this? I think, oh my god, that's Cybercab. Oh my god, that's Cybercab.
Holy.
Oh my god. Oh my god, that's Cybercab. That's Cybercab. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Tesla stock 243. Holy crap. It's real. Guys, it's real. It's actually happening. Oh my god. Dude, there's no drivers in that car.
It's like a tiny Cybertruck.
It actually looks so cool, not gonna lie. Like, oh my goodness. And they designed this whole city just for that.
Actually, I think the city exists because it's in the Warner Brothers studios. I think it's there always. but which is probably why they chose it. But
Wow. Tesla 244.
Welcome. Welcome to the We Robot Party. So we have quite a show for you tonight. I think you're gonna like it. As you can see, I just arrived in the Robotaxi, the cyber cab, and there's 20 more where that came from. So they've been traveling. There's no people in them, as you can see. The car's just going by with no people.
he's rocking
We
the
have,
Jensen leather
We have
jacket.
50 fully autonomous cars here tonight. So you'll see Model Ys and the cyber cab, all driverless. You'll be able to take a ride in the cyber cab. There's no steering wheel or pedals. So I hope this goes well. We'll find out. So you see a lot of sci-fi movies where the future is dark and dismal, where it's not a future you want to be in. So, like, I love Blade Runner, but I don't know if we want that future. I think we want that duster he's wearing, but not the bleak apocalypse. We want to have a fun, exciting future that if you could look in a crystal ball and see the future, you'd be like, yes, I wish I could be there now. That's what we want. So when we think about transport today, there's a lot of kind of pain that we take for granted that we think is normal. Like having to drive around LA in like 3 hours of traffic. Yeah, and people that live in LA, I mean, try to get from Pasadena to, El Segundo during rush hour is like, you can fly to, another city faster than you can get to crosstown LA. So, and you have to drive the whole way. Unless you're in a Tesla, of course. Tesla already does quite well at this, supervised self-driving. So supervised full self-driving is actually working quite well. I'm sure there's people in the crowd, you're using that, yeah? So we'll move from supervised full self-driving to unsupervised full self-driving, where the car, you could fall asleep and wake up at your destination. So, but there's also a challenge for a lot of people that cars cost too much. I mean, when you factor in everything that goes into a car and the car insurance, the car payments, and the storage of the car, it's very expensive. So with, and you say like how many hours a week are cars used? Your average passenger car is only used about 10 hours a week out of 168 hours. So the vast majority of the time, cars are just doing nothing. But if they're autonomous, they could be used, I don't know, 5 times more, maybe 10 times more. So you could actually, for the same car, would have 5 times as much value, maybe 10 times as much value. There's 168 hours in the week, and like I said, only 10 of them are used for driving. So, and then a bunch of those hours are looking for a parking spot, which is, can be pretty annoying at times. So we want, with autonomy, you get your time back. This is a very big deal. So it's not just it'll save lives, like a lot of lives, and prevent injuries. I think we'll see autonomous cars become 10 times safer than a human. I mean, if you think of times past where there used to be an elevator operator in every elevator, but once in a while they get tired and accidentally shear somebody in half. So now we have automated elevators. You just get in an elevator and you press a button, and you don't even think about it, and it just takes you to the floor. And if you did see an elevator operator with a big relay switch, you'd be like, "That's weird." Now that's how cars will be. And it's not just the lives saved in injuries, but if you think about the cumulative time that people spend in a car and the time that they will get back, that they can now spend, well, I guess on their phones or watching a movie or doing work or whatever you want to do. You can think of the car in an autonomous world as being like just a little lounge. You're just sitting in a comfortable little lounge, and you can do whatever you want while you're in this comfortable little lounge. And when you get out, you will be at your destination. So yeah, it's gonna be awesome. So in fact, I think the cost of autonomous transport will be so low that you can think of it like individualized mass transit. The average cost of a bus per mile for a city, not the ticket price because that is subsidized, but the average price is about $1 a mile. Whereas the cost of cybercab, we think probably over time, from the operating cost is probably going to be around 20 cents a mile. And price, including taxes and everything else, probably ends up being 30 or 40 cents a mile. So yes, and you will be able to buy one.
Whoa.
Yes, exactly. And we expect the cost to be below $30,000.
Oh boy.
And I think there'll be an interesting, business model where, like, let's say somebody is an, Uber or Lyft driver today, where they can actually sort of manage a fleet of cars, and like a sort of manage, I don't know, 10, 20 cars, and just sort of take care of them like a shepherd tends their flock. You have your flock of cars, and you're the shepherd, and you take care of your flock of cars. I think that'd be pretty cool. I think it's gonna be a glorious future. It's gonna be really something special. So, yes, good, all excellent questions. So we do expect actually to start fully autonomous, unsupervised FSD in Texas and California next year.
Oh my God. There it is.
And that's obviously, that's with the Model 3 and Model Y. And then we expect to be in production with the Cybercab, which is really highly optimized for autonomous transport in probably, well, I tend to be a little optimistic with timeframes, but in 2026. So yeah, before 2027, let me put it that way. And we'll make this vehicle in very high volume, and but well before that, you'll experience a robotic taxi via the Model 3 and Model Y program, and Model S and X too. But your 3 and Y will achieve unsupervised full self-driving with permission in wherever regulators essentially approve it in the US, and then to follow in outside the US. So, and it's Cybertruck too, yes, of course, sorry, I don't want to forget, yes, all our cars are basically, all cars that we make. So, let's not get nuanced here. All right, next slide.
All right, so he says 2026 optimistically.
So one of the reasons why the computer can be so much better than a person is that we have millions of cars that are training on driving. So it's like living millions of lives simultaneously and seeing very unusual situations that a person in their entire lifetime would not see. But hopefully, yeah. Exactly. So so with that amount of training data, it's obviously going to be much better than what a human could be, because you can't live a million lives. And it's also, it can see in all directions simultaneously, and it doesn't get tired or text or any of those things. So it will naturally be, like I said, 10, 20, 30 times safer than a human, just for all those reasons. And I want to emphasize that the solution that we have is AI and vision. So there's no expensive equipment needed. So the Model 3 and Model Y and S and X that we make today will be capable of full autonomy unsupervised. And that means that our cost of producing the vehicle is low. Now, we are going to actually overspec the computer for the Cybercab. So our AI5 computer will be somewhat overspec'd. And because I think there's actually also an opportunity, sort of like an Amazon Web Services, where if the car is driving for 50 hours a week, there's still over 100 hours left. And there's a potential there to have a massive amount of distributed inference compute, where if you've got, like, say, a fleet of 100 million vehicles and a kilowatt of efficient inference compute, you have 100 gigawatts of compute, which is really quite substantial. And if it's there, you might as well use it. So yeah, so that I think will make sense. So, all right. So our autonomous future is here. As I said, we've got 50 Teslas driving autonomously. We're trying to give you a sense of what cities will be like in the future. And when you get in, you'll see, like, it's really quite a wild experience to just be in a car with no steering wheel, no pedals, no controls, and it feels great. So, and we have enough vehicles here, so everyone should be able to try it out and experience the set that we've built here. It's a very big set, so it's like really, we've used I don't know, 20, 30 acres or something like that. It's really big. So it goes on, the ride's long. And we set it up to feel like a ride, like a park ride. So it'll be cool, and you'll get to experience it tonight. Something we're also doing is, and it's really high time we did this, is inductive charging. So the Robotaxi has no plug. It just goes over the inductive charger and charges. So yeah, it's kind of how it should be. Thanks, guys. I love you too. So one of the things that is really interesting is how will this affect the cities that we live in? And when you drive around a city, or when the car drives you around a city, you'll see there's a lot of parking lots. There's parking lots everywhere, parking garages. So what would happen if you have an autonomous world is that you can now turn parking lots into parks. And so we're taking the ing lot out of parking lot. Welcome. So there's a lot of opportunity to create green space in the cities that we live in.
What the heck is this?
Wait, what is this? What is this thing?
Quite fantastic. Oh, and also, what happens if you need a vehicle that is bigger than a Model Y?
What is this?
This is some Dune type of shit.
The Robovan. The Robovan is we're going to make this, and it's going to look like that. Now, can you imagine going down the streets and you see this coming towards you?
Yeah, I'd run.
Sick.
Bro, is this this is a van? A Robovan? That's what he called it?
Yeah.
This can carry up to 20 people, and it can also transport goods.
Holy
So
shit.
you can configure it for goods transport within a city, or transport of up to 20 people at a time.
This is
So
huge.
this is gonna, the Robovan is what's gonna solve for high density. So if you want to take a sports team somewhere, or you're looking to really get the cost of travel down to, I don't know, 5-10 cents a mile, then you can use the Robovan. Some people call it the Robovan, but so yeah. You know, one of the things that we want to do, and we've seen this with the Cybertruck, is we want to change the look of the roads. The future should look like the future. So, speaking of robots.
Uh-oh. Did we get something else?
So everything we've developed for our cars, the batteries, power electronics, the advanced motors, gearboxes, the software, the AI inference computer, it all actually applies to a humanoid robot. It's the same techniques. It's just a robot with arms and legs instead of a robot with wheels. And we've made a lot of progress with Optimus. And as you can see, we started with someone in a robot suit, sort of down, and then we've progressed dramatically year after year.
This is awesome.
So if you extrapolate this, you're really going to have something spectacular, something that anyone could own. So you could have your own personal R2-D2 C3PO. And I think at scale, this would cost something like, I don't know, $20,000, $30,000. Probably less than a car, is my prediction, long term. Now, it'll take us a minute to get to the long term, but fundamentally at scale, the Optimus robot, you should be able to buy an Optimus robot for, I think, probably $20,000 to $30,000 long term. So, and what can it do? It'll be able to do anything you want. So it can be a teacher, babysit your kids. It can walk your dog, mow your lawn, get the groceries, just be your friend, serve drinks. Whatever you can think of, it will do. And yeah, it's going to be awesome. And I think this will be the biggest product ever of any kind. Yeah. Because I think everyone, of the 8 billion people of Earth, I think everyone's going to want their Optimus buddy. And there's going to be maybe two, and then they'll be producing products and services. I predict, actually, provided we address risks of digital superintelligence, 80% probability of good, a good outcome. Look on the bright side. The cup is 80% full. The cost of products and services will decline dramatically, and basically anyone will be able to have any products and services they want. It will be an age of abundance, the likes of which people have almost no one has envisioned. It'll be something special. So now, one of the things we wanted to show tonight was that Optimus is not a canned video. It's not walled off. The Optimus robots will walk among you. Please be nice to the Optimus robots. So you'll be able to walk right up to them, and they'll serve drinks at the bar. And you'll directly, I mean, that's just, it's a wild experience just to have humanoid robots, and they're there, you're just in front of you. So yeah, with that, let's party. I love you guys too. If you look at that gazebo over there, let's get the party started.
Dude, this event is going well.
Yeah, stocked at 246 now.
Robot dance better than humans. They already dance better than me.
Yeah, they dance better than me too. Is that it? Are we done? I think.
Why did he say Robovan weird? He was like, I don't even know.
It was on purpose. I'm pretty sure. It was on
I
purpose.
know, but what was it a reference to? Because he was even like laughing about it. He said some people would say Robovan, but he was like Robovan.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess he wanted to be different. I think that's it, guys. We're gonna let this play a little bit right here before we start talking about it. But I have some thoughts on this event. I'm sure my colleagues do as well. But I think that is it. That is the event. Yeah, there you go. That's it. Tesla 1010 event is done. The stock is down from where it was at 252.
Awesome.
Still up a little bit, but it is down. Yeah, the event is officially done, guys. There's no more stream. That was it. That was the event. I mean, they just showed this. There's no volume on it. I think they're just showing footage from people that are at, like, if you're at Los Angeles right now, you're gonna have probably a fun couple hours to be in it. But I don't think they're actually announcing anything else. So let's take a little bit of a look at this and then we'll start talking. Yeah, they're showing footage of people actually trying out the Robotaxi. Oh, wow. That's actually going to be cool if you're there in LA. You can try it out. Okay, that's it. If you guys want to actually watch it, I'll put the link in the chat and you can watch like people ride in the Robotaxi. Tesla stock now 239. I've got some thoughts, but let's start off with my colleagues. Neil, give me your raw thoughts on everything you saw in the event, and then we'll go deeper.
It's 5:20 a.m. and this is all we get. I mean, the looks of the car, pretty cool, not going to lie. Hopefully it's a bit of the same design for the compact car, but yeah, overall, short event. I thought they would show us a little bit more. Wireless charging is pretty sweet and makes sense, to be honest, if you want to run a Robotaxi fleet. So yeah, overall, I think my expectations were a bit higher going into this now.
Well, what do you mean by that? What did you want to see that you didn't see at this event?
Maybe a bit more of the car driving how you order it, right? There was no app demo, for example. So how do you call a car? Could have shown that. The robo, I mean, you could have shown the inside a little bit more. I know these are prototypes and stuff like that, so maybe they didn't want to show that much. But then again, why hold these types of events? With the robots, he said there are robots serving you drinks. Why are we not seeing that right now on the stream? Missed opportunity, unless unless they're afraid the robots will start throwing margaritas at people. But yeah, I don't know. It's pretty cool to see what will happen in the future. Then again, 26, maybe 27. But yeah, I think most folks were expecting a little bit more, especially since it was delayed.
Okay, Tesla stock right here now officially down after hours. Volume on this, I'll get the volume in a second. But Vince, your thoughts on this event? Vince, you're muted. Okay, you're good. You're good.
Yeah. So I don't know. What do you think I'm thinking? I was hoping my best case scenario would be a good event with the stock price falling, and then I wanted to sell puts on the stock. So I'm very happy with the event. I think they leveled up on the event, because usually like Elon comes out and then he fumbles the event left, right, and Windows breaks and it doesn't go as he wants. And I think it was a very well conducted event, and I'm overall happy with how the event came out. I understand completely why Wall Street doesn't like it, because he was not very big on the details, and the things that was announced was in the future. But at the same time, like, I feel pretty confident with the progress that they're making,
Yeah, I just put a poll in the chat. Let me see what you guys think. Wow, Tesla's down 4% right now. Volume is over 900,000 shares, so it's going to cross 1 million shares in volume probably in the next few hours. Down about 4%. Okay, so let me give you the good and the bad from my perspective. The good is Optimus seems to be rolling out on schedule in terms of the updates to actually make robots real. That is a very good thing. So I like that. Cybercab looks sick, in my opinion. I think it looks really cool. I like it. I mean, this thing looks sexy to me. I don't know. Some people think it might look ugly. I think it looks pretty damn cool. Kind of in that Cybertruck vibe in terms of the aesthetic of it. It doesn't obviously look like a Cybertruck, but you can see they're going for a certain brand palette in terms of how they want to showcase it. And I also think the Robo Van or Robo Minivan, whatever they call it, is cool. It looks fine. I think if you're doing like Uber Pool when you ride with other people, if this thing is going to be like an Uber Pool on steroids where there's 20 people that can hop into this thing and it just takes them and drops them off to destinations, maybe that's something that's exciting. And then, because I don't know why you would buy a van for 20 people if it wasn't a shared ride, right? Like otherwise you would just buy a minivan. So I thought that was cool. Now, the bad about this, I'm going to be honest, and I've been pretty objective for the past 2 months on my thoughts on this, and I've said the same thing almost every single day leading up to this. If we are light on details, I think the street is going to tank the stock. And market's not open yet, but what we're seeing right here is at least retail dump it 2.6%, because I think we were light on details. I think we were really, really light on details. And if anyone disagrees and wants to say, oh, Amit's being a Tesla bear right now or something, I think you are being completely delusional if you thought there were real details in that event. We got FSD in California and Texas in 2025. We don't know when in 2025. Just it's in 2025. As Neil said, there was no explanation of the actual app being downloaded, calling. I mean, there was a little video showing it, but there was no real demo of how that would kind of look like, which again, that demo could come out or that the actual app can come out 8 months from now, but like seeing it being used so Wall Street can have an understanding of what it looks like in a real demo, I think that was important. We didn't get that. This Robo Minivan, we don't know when that's going to be manufactured. Is that going to happen in 5 years, 6 years, 2 years? Like, and also, what's the point of that van at the end of the day? Like, some more details on why it matters, I think would be nice. And then the Cybercab, if it goes into production in 2026, when does it actually go for sale? Right? He said it goes in production in 2026. He didn't say it goes for sale in 2026. He said it goes in production. So if it goes in production in 2026, then and he said, he was hedging his statements by saying, I tend to be a little optimistic. And I love that from Elon because I'm so pro-founder, pro-visionary, etc. But at the end of the day, whenever he says I tend to be a little optimistic before a statement, that usually means, it's going to take a couple of years more than what is expected. Either he's sandbagging here or he doesn't expect it to actually go out into the world until 2027. Below 30,000, that's great. But what's the actual price, right? Wall Street cannot put that into their estimates if they don't know what the price of it really is. So you don't know the price of the car. You don't know if Optimus is rolling out anytime soon, although we did get an update on how Optimus is doing. And I know Optimus is serving drinks right now in LA, which is great. But like, when is it going to be used in Amazon warehouses, right? So we can actually see it really deliver value. This RoboVan thing, we have no clue what this is actually going to do or when it's going to go into production. And then Cybercab, which looks amazing, and I'm sure we're going to get a ton of testimonials from people at the event that are using it. When is it going to be produced? When is it rolling out? And if it's only rolling out in Texas and California, when are the actual revenues from this going to materialize if you only have 2 cities that you're starting with for the next 365 days with no plan to start rolling out to many more cities or many more countries? And so that's why I think the stock is selling off. Again, honestly, I don't care if the stock sells off because I am long-term bullish on Tesla and I will sell puts and buy more over the next decade because I do believe long-term in the company. But the reason for this short-term reaction, in my opinion, is because a lack of details, a lot of lack of details. And anyone calling a bear in the chat, honestly, I just think you're ignorant. Like, anyone who says like, oh, this is bearish, it's like you have your head so far up your ass and you don't understand that you'd actually need details in an event. And it's okay to be bullish and be skeptical of like the lack of details for a 20-minute event that we waited 2 months for because it was delayed and then another hour for because of the delay. So that's the broader concern I have with this. Let me know what you guys think in the chat. Also, we have our boy here, Mr. Matt Money. Matt, what were your thoughts on the event?
The whole time I was like, what would Amit do if he was there live? And I think that you would have been the gentleman that was screaming in the background, trying to get Elon off track. But I think it was pretty interesting. The thing that bothered me a little bit, I haven't really been listening to you guys. Apologies, I was doing my own stream. But the thing that bothered me a little bit is, although it was really cool to see the actual cab itself, and I like the name Cybercab, and it was cool to see, what was it? The Venovan? What was it? The Venovan was pretty cool. Whatever the Cybervan. RoboVan, thank you. That was pretty cool. At the same time, I was expecting shorter timelines, and then also the fact that they keep reiterating that full self-driving is going to be starting next year. It's like, come on, my guys. I've been hearing full self-driving for many moons at this point. But I will say congratulations to everybody that's had the forethought to invest in Tesla. They are at the forefront of really pushing the auto industry, and they're continuing to be the leaders in pushing the auto industry forward. So in that respect, you really have to give them kudos and credit where it's due. And really looking forward to seeing what happens. What I'm probably going to be doing is, especially if there's a pullback, is maybe sell 1 or 2 puts and try to get, 100, 200 shares in this bad boy. Because I think eventually the Optimus robots will show pretty beautifully.
Yeah, and what you're seeing right now on the screen, agreeing with Matt, like that is my long-term thesis. What you're seeing here is amazing. It's like bartending or whatever. This is amazing, guys. This is incredible. No one's denying that. What we're doing as an investment community, to be objective, is, are there results for everyone who's like wants the stock to go to the moon so they can buy a Lambo? You need specific details. And I think the potential and thesis that Matt is talking about on Robotaxi and the bot is super bullish. And that's what the event kind of brought to fruition. It's just we don't know when the hell it's happening. And until we know, I don't think the market's going to be able to price that in. At least not yet. Any other thoughts, Matt, on this? Or that's kind of your core thoughts?
I'm really kind of curious to see how media picks this up. In my chat, it was not well received. I had 60 to 70 people saying I stayed up an hour late for this. We had to get pushed. And granted, I really hope the individual that had the medical problem is okay, first and foremost. I appreciate Elon being like, you know what? I understand there's millions of people waiting for this event, but safety comes first. And I think that that's paramount in any sort of industry. It just kind of shows the character of the Tesla organization and Elon to make sure that everyone's okay before the event really started. But at the end of the day, I think people were disappointed. It was only half an hour long. They waited extra time. And, to me, I think it's pluses and minuses. I think the problem is if Elon didn't have such forethought and transparency about providing this, everybody would be literally shitting bricks at the futuristic nature of what we just saw. But because everyone has had their own vision in their minds going for several years at this point, based off talks of FSD and everything. So anyway, I'm curious how it shows up in the media tomorrow. Is it going to go over like a fart in church, or are people actually going to be excited? I'm curious also to hear what Dan says, because Dan, generally speaking, in the midst of something like this where people are pretty polarized, he can really round people together and get them to see the forest through the trees, if that makes sense. And he's always kind of a light that I look to. And same with Tom Lee. I'm curious what Tom Lee would think about this. Or Ja Rule. What would Ja Rule think?
That would be interesting to see Ja Rule's take. Neil, you've been invested in Tesla out of all four of us for a long time. I think you are the most bullish out of all of us because you actually had your money compound in this company. Are we being objective here, or are we being bearish?
No, I mean, I agree with you. I agree with your points. I think there was a lot of hype anticipation for this event. And let's be real here. Did what we see, I mean, it's incredible. The future looks incredible. But it's not like, oh, I didn't see this one coming. We saw it coming, right? This product, even the RoboVin, although the looks are still quite strange, we saw it coming. There were not like one more thing Apple-like, or even Rivian when they came out with the R3. If they'll still survive until then, I don't know. But at least there was like, oh, wow, that's an extra thing I did not expect. And here we're showing you this. So yeah, it's exciting stuff, but it's not, I wouldn't say it's not worthy of an event, because everything's worthy of an event. But I mean, the anticipation, the hype was pretty high, and they delivered what we expected. So it's not like, oh, damn, I didn't think about that, and bravo.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. Vince, go ahead.
Can I be on the other side of this argument? So first, I just wanted to say that I was the resident bear on the stream, and I was right. The stock is falling after the event. And I just want to be on the other side of this event. I think we did get enough data. I think it's just you guys don't like the data that was given. Like, look, we have seen the cyber cab. That was new. We have never seen that before. He gave the price point of the Cybertruck. Cab. Sorry, I can't speak. He gave timelines when it would be produced, and that was the event 4. And I mean, like, what more do you need? Like, for data. And I understand that people were expecting that. Yeah, here's the Cybercab, and production is starting tomorrow, and you can order in 3 weeks. But I'm happy with the event. I completely understand why the stock is selling off. But for me, this was, I'm selfishly saying this was a best case scenario for me, because I really want to wheel on Tesla stock. And I love that it has this like very fast up and down moves. And I think that that's not going to change. And I'm very happy I will get to sell puts after this event. And I mean, I'm happy with it. I'm happy with how the event went.
The thing is, I don't think anyone here disagrees with that. Like, the event had a ton of information on the future trajectory of Tesla, but as Neil said, we all knew a lot of this. We knew Optimus was on the way. We knew the Robotaxi was eventually on the way. I think some people thought a van was coming, but I don't think people expected that van in that way. But even the presentation of the Robo minivan, whatever it is, it wasn't like a, hey, like, everyone be quiet, like, we've got this new thing coming out. It just like rolled out, and Elon said 2 words about it, and that was it. And then again, I think the most objective take here is that until I'm really curious what Dan Ives is going to say, because Dan Ives today on CNBC said we're going to get a ton of details. I mean, I don't think we got any. Like, I really don't think.
But what details are you missing? Because, for example, that they didn't show the app. I mean, if we're looking at it, like, what is the problem that we're trying to handle? Is full self-driving never been done before? The Optimus robot, humanoid robot, has never been done before. And then, like, producing an app Like honestly, it's the easiest problem. Like
no. We needed to know, hey, by June 2025 in Texas, you will be able to call a Robotaxi within these jurisdictions, within Austin, Houston, whatever, and it will take you there. By May of 2026, the Cybercab will be in production. Like, the only reason I'm being nitpicky about this, which I don't really think is that nitpicky, is because if Wall Street doesn't have the numbers, everyone here that says screw Wall Street, these are the guys that are going to decide if the stock goes up or not. These are the guys that have billions of dollars that are going to either buy it or sell it. So you can say screw Wall Street all you want, but if they don't have the clarity, we don't even have the regulatory clarity, then
but it's impossible to get it now. Like he couldn't have come out and have come out and said our FSD is approved in 50 states. We're launching. Like that was.
He doesn't need to say that. He needs to say, hey guys, this is exactly the timeline we think is going to happen. He cannot say it'll start by 2026.
But that's what but that's what he said. It's just you don't like the time, and Wall Street doesn't like the time. But he did give a timeline.
No, he said a year. Yeah, go ahead, Neil. Go ahead.
Yeah, no. First of all, with the app thing, I mean, you're trying to sell a concept to consumer. Don't forget that, not to investors, to consumers. So I would have expected a full demo. Like the app is okay, is cool.
Yeah, but do you honestly think
full demo?
But do you have any doubts that they would be able to deliver an app that works and it will sell to?
That's not the point. The point is you're having this Robotaxi event. I mean, imagine if this was Apple, they would have been destroyed by myself included.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
You're already having this event. Like the products were cool, right? The new van, the car, all of that is cool. But in my opinion, it went way too quickly. Like you go from one thing to the other. Like let us savor the moment, look inside the vehicle, maybe talk a little bit more about that. Show the app. Yes, they showed pretty quickly like a robo car wash, right? Because that's an issue when people leave stuff in the car. It's a robot sucking the thing out of the car kit. That's great. Wireless charging. They acquired that company a couple of years ago, I think Waverion or something like that. So makes sense. Pretty cool as well. So I'm not denying that. But data like, I mean, okay, it's not a financial stuff event. So like miles per intervention and stuff like that, take rate. I don't know. We don't know anything about that other than Elon's tweet. And we hope he's semi-right on those numbers. But it felt short. Show us a little bit more. Not just one Elon getting into the car and then, oh, poof, done, over. We're not seeing anything yet. Again, unless you're at that event. Plus, it's not their fault that we were well instructed to what we could expect, right? We like these types of things, so we knew what could have happened. So I guess our expectations are higher. But then again, when you go to a Tesla Robotaxi event that has been delayed by 2 months, I think it's fair to say you expect a lot.
Yeah, and I think most of us on the panel here, because we're investors, a lot of us have entrepreneurial side businesses. Matt has like a multi-billion-dollar Airbnb rental property business. At the end of the day, we all believe in the founder being visionary and like really going for it. I mean, Matt and Vince have successfully invested in Rocket Lab this year, and you're basically trusting the vision of Peter Beck that he can literally take the company to the moon. So it's not a question of doubting Elon or the foundational paradigms that he engages in when it comes to changing the world. It is a question of when the heck is this stuff going to happen? Is it really going to happen in enough time where the Wall Street can price in something greater in terms of a multiple off a $700 or $800 billion market cap with revenues that are declining, EPS that is declining, and margins that are declining? Like that, that's just the bottom line truth about it. And so the lack of those details, I think, is what might make Wall Street upset tomorrow. If the stock pumps tomorrow, it's because Wall Street doesn't give a shit about the details and they're just buying it up because there was enough in the event to get them excited. Given how they've been talking about the event, I think I'm skeptical that might happen, but I guess we'll see. Go ahead, Vince.
No, I think it's totally fair that the stock is falling. Like, I completely understand it, but if we're having this discussion, like, do you guys think that this event was like an Apple-esque launch event of a product, or was this event for investors? Because I think that this was more to rebrand Tesla, that this is the future of the company. Look how much progress we're making on Optimus. This is what the Robotaxi fleet is going to look like. And I don't think it's possible. Like, I understand and I agree with you that from a Wall Street viewpoint, to keep the stock moving up, you needed, like, again, he gave timelines. You just don't like the timelines.
No. He did not give a timeline. Saying maybe 2026 or 2027 is not a timeline.
That is a timeline. You just don't like the timeline. It is
no.
a timeline.
So how specific? So a year is enough of a timeline for you? No specifics on when, what months?
I mean,
how long when it goes from production to actually going on sale. Like none of that includes a timeline to you.
Look. It's like when you go so far out, right? Like, it would be like if he would have said June 3, 2028, we are launching Robotaxi, you would have been like, it's BS. Like, how can you? Because it's so far into the future, you can't give a more
but at least commit. I mean, imagine, the iPhone 16 available maybe in the next 12 months, hopefully before 18 months.
But again, this is when we come back to, like, who was this event for? Because I don't think that this was, I don't think that this event was for consumers to watch and then be like, oh my God, I want to reserve my Robotaxi, or I'm downloading the Tesla app, you know?
But it should have been, no? I mean, in the earnings call, he's always, this is not a product reveal call, so I'm not going to talk about future products, blah, blah, blah. Now that we actually have a product event, you could have.
That's a hell of a point. That's a hell of a point. Elon never answers questions on the earnings calls, and for good reason, right? You don't want to give those specific details on a product launch event that's been hyped up for a year. I mean, if we don't get details on that event, when are we ever getting details? But like my fear, and I don't think this will be the case, but Cybertruck was announced in 2019. It rolled out in 2024. My fear is that there is a elongated delay, maybe not 5 years, but that is what ends up, leading investors to be upset over the next couple of years if we don't get this to come out. And I know it's hard to do this. This is revolutionary technology. I give Elon all the benefits of the doubt, but just being objective from an investing perspective, I think we were light on the details.
So let's take a different viewpoint. So let's say that you're Elon and you see that, okay, like, the whole company needs to be pivoted away from just being a car company, and we need to, go all in on autonomy. And you see that, okay, the products are coming in 2027, maybe if you're really accelerating the timeline, 2026. Like, can you let the stock flounder and the investors hate your company for 2 more years because you don't want to have these events that might disappoint? You know what I mean? Like, I think that the guy is doing what he can. He's like trying to solve problems that have never been solved before. And like, I think that the frustration of the investors with this event is that the timelines are not fast enough. But it is what it is. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, I agree. I guess it's just a question of how investors are going to interpret when it rolls out. Here's the thing. If Tesla tanks to like 150, 160, I think someone said in the chat they're going to sell their house and buy Tesla. I would agree. I would find the way to get, same, right? So that's the difference here. I think that's the nuance in this. This is not a group of people saying that if Tesla has a dramatic dip, they wouldn't engage in that opportunity, because the potential when you're investing for the future is so obvious what we're looking at.
And that's what the purpose was of the event. I think that they wanted to show that this is the future. And yes, as I said, I completely understand why the stock is falling, because most probably when I go back and update my model, the fair value of Tesla is not going to be, because you push into, like, you go more and more into the future, so you have to discount more, right? But it is still a very bright future. It's still coming. We still trust that future. It's just if you were hoping for a 3x in 2025, it's not coming.
Yeah, and see, this is the comment that I think is ridiculous. Amit says Amit doesn't care what Wall Street thinks when it comes to Palantir, but when Tesla, it's the opposite. No, if Palantir said, "Hey guys, we're launching AIP sometime next year," right? Like, Wall Street would be like, "What?" We don't know when this is launching or how this is going to launch, if customers are going to adopt it. Palantir has held 5 AIP conferences, and in those conferences, they're not talking about hypothetical, imaginary ways of using AIP. They have hundreds of customers showing, I think at this point, 50 different keynotes publicly on how they're using AIP. Now, one is a software business, one is more in the automotive space. So it's a bit different here. But the point is, any company that puts up an idea of, hey, we have this product and it's going to launch and it's going to be special, and then doesn't follow up with the resounding details around how that product is going to launch or what's going to lead it to become successful outside of showing it off, it's a little tough to interpret. I do agree with your point, Vince, though, that maybe this wasn't an investor event. Maybe this was an event to rebrand the company. Obviously, investors will care about that, but it's more so about the psyche and the personality of Tesla transitioning from cars to autonomy. And that's the difference here. Matt, do you have any take on that this event really wasn't for investors?
I think the way I've been trying to understand is if Elon's trying to pivot himself as kind of like what Facebook did probably 2 or 3 years ago, which is they changed to Meta. And I'm not saying he's going to change the name from Tesla or anything like that, but I think what he's trying to show people is the end goal was never just an electric vehicle. The end goal was to create an opportunity for, the future, whether that was, self-driving, whether that was robotics, whether that was. And so I think a lot of times right now, and I think right now, especially as the stock has waned a little bit, and it used to be $1 trillion market cap, now it's in the 700 billions, and at one point it was in the 400 billions that people remember. Myself included, was thinking that the stock was expensive. If you're saying it's a car company, I think he's really trying to get it off of, look, this isn't a car company. This is a company that's continuing to innovate. It's completely different than any of the other things that are out on the market. You have this vision in your mind, and this is something I've said in the past. I think it's going to be very difficult to sell these vehicles for $20,000, $30,000. And the reason being, if they are truly that, what's the word I'm looking for, that efficient, and they are able to go out and work for 50 to 100 hours a week and quadruple or multiply the amount of times that the car is on the road by 10, and people are comfortable with, having their car work and be able to make money on their behalf and manage a fleet of vehicles, as Elon was kind of alluding to, it's going to be very difficult for people to actually buy these things for $30,000. Or you'll have people that buy them in bulk and they won't be able to make them fast enough. And eventually you'll have people that won't own cars at all. And that could be good, that could be bad, but that leaves a lot of, in my opinion, change to the landscape in cities. That changed a lot of the landscape. If things are going well, it'll change the landscape of driving in general. Because, hopefully things are able to communicate a lot better than what we do, the way we do right now, in terms of, being able to be in traffic, etc. Hopefully it cuts down on that. I don't know. I just think, to me, they're trying to brand themselves as somebody that's forward looking, not just another car company. Which, to be fair, I think they're doing a great job. They've done it before, and they're trying to do it again.
I agree with Matt. I agree 1000% with Matt. I think that the branding of this event is good. The lack of details is not the best. And a lot of us here are relatively bullish on Tesla and their future of Tesla. For anyone who says, oh, Tesla doesn't have any competition, they're the only ones delivering, yada, yada. I think we already know all that stuff. And so does Wall Street. All that's priced in. At an $800 billion market cap, that is priced in. The question is, how do we get to 1.6 trillion? How do we get to 3 trillion, 5 trillion, 10 trillion? You got to have exponential, forget S-curve level growth. You're talking about growth that, the world has never seen. And to do that, you've got to innovate. Tesla's doing the innovation, but now the question is, the timeline on the innovation. And look, the later the timeline, the more time you have to accumulate shares. That's been my philosophy on Tesla for a while, which is why I haven't been in a rush, because they're doing things that are so revolutionary. I don't think there's a rush to buy shares today, right? Because it's like, it'll take time for this to play out. So you'll have some time to get it. But I think some investors tomorrow might not be the happiest if it doesn't happen soon enough.
When's Cyber Lambo?
The Roadster.
Oh.
The Roadster.
Yeah, but I mean, I can understand all the points. First of all, I said it in the past. I don't think this event would have had any impact on Tesla's business, especially not in the near term. Plus, we do have an earnings report and call coming up in the next couple of weeks, and that will definitely make the stock go up or down based on margins. Have they bottomed? Have they not? What's going on with the next quarter? Are things looking a little bit better now that interest rates are coming coming down. But yeah, I do expect again more questions about the next generation vehicles, which again, production should start first half 2025. And I can already put $1 on the fact that Elon will say in the earnings call again, this is not a product call, blah, 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 when analysts will ask him about the next generation vehicles.
So hold on, Neil, that's a good point, because now, like, if this was the timeline, as Vince says, this was the timeline, even if we didn't like it, that we got, when's the next timeline update? Because it's not on the earnings call. Elon's not going to answer questions there. So when is, like, now I think the problem here is the uncertainty with investors, and they hate uncertainty, which is now they're just waiting for the next event, the next moment, the next Elon tweet that says Cyber Cab is rolling out, right? Because he said maybe 2026 production. So hopefully by December 2025, he says, Merry Christmas. You know, we're starting production next year. Like, now we have no freaking clue when this is officially getting to the timelines that Elon talked about. And we have no idea of when to ask Elon those questions.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and the difference between, I mean, the Apple event was also a disappointment, right? Yes, they launched a new phone, but the Apple Intelligence, it's the same thing. There's also no correct date when you're all going to be able to use that. So a bit of the same here. Plus, I could understand why you do not want to announce, right? Oh, this is the next vehicle production, first half 2025. This is the price, this is how it looks, when you're now in October and you're only going to deliver it 7, 8, 10 months from now. But then again, why hold such events so early? Doesn't make any sense. I mean, they could have held this Robotaxi event in 2025, right? Closer to reality.
But what's reality, right? So if you think about it, he said we're going to start production. It doesn't mean deliveries in 2026 or 2027.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I'm scared about.
Production of the next generation vehicles, affordable models, those in the last 2 shareholder decks, that it's written first half of 2025. So you could have combined both of that.
Wait, hold on. You're right about that, Neil. So in the last 2 share decks, he said we're going to start production second half 2025. That's basically the Cybercab, right? That they were talking about.
No, it says, I think, first half 2025, next gen models, including affordable ones.
But that is the Cybercab. That's what we saw today, right? That's the next gen model.
I would assume it would be the same design-ish.
Okay, so you're saying he said, go ahead, Vince. Go ahead.
Didn't Walter Isaacson say that the next gen vehicle will have a steering wheel version and a Robotaxi version? So maybe, maybe if the Robotaxi is not ready, there's going to be a product launch event where they launch this Cybercab, but it will have like a steering wheel and a pedal that you can buy, and that's the one that is coming in beginning 2025.
It's supposed to be all on the same refresh production line, so the cost of the car shouldn't be that high and margins shouldn't get hit that much.
So hold on. We got no details in this event then on that next generation vehicle you're talking about, Neil. Correct?
No, which would make sense, because then why would you buy a Model 3 or Model Y today, right? If you knew that the next car is this. Which again goes back to the point, why have this event in October of 2024?
Okay, so I want to summarize what Neil said if that went over people's heads. So basically, on the last 2 shareholder decks, and we covered the Tesla earnings on the stream, so I remember reading this, they said next-gen vehicle production, their entire lineup of next-gen vehicles will start mid-half 2025. In fact, it pumped from 150 to 170 that day when they announced that it would be second half of 2025, which is bullish because that's coming up pretty soon. Today, Elon said Cybercab production 2026 is the unofficial timeline / official timeline we got from the stream. Neil is saying, hey, why the hell would you buy a Model 3 or a Model Y when you can get a car for under 30,000, which is the whole point of the next gen vehicles that are affordable, if they're being produced in 2025, hopefully rolling out 2026. If we don't have any timeline on the update on that, meaning this event didn't talk about, hey, are those next gen vehicles actually being consistent with the 2025 timeline, which you would imagine, as Neil is saying, this would be the event to just say, hey, by the way, the next gen vehicle also is going to start being produced next year. if that's the case, we don't officially know if Cybercab is going to be produced in 2026. We don't officially know if next-gen vehicles are going to be produced in 2025, which means we definitely don't know when any of those are going to come to reality on the streets in between 2026 to 2030. And I think all we're asking for here is, hey, if Elon had said that this stuff is officially going to start happening in production, then we could say, all right, by 2027, 2028, at least we'll start getting sales of these vehicles. But now I think that is even in question. And that's the part that I think they're struggling with.
Yeah, because it says, and I'll read here, plans for new vehicles, including more affordable models, remain on track for production in the first half of 2025. These vehicles will utilize aspects of the next generation platform, as well as aspects of our current platforms, and will be able to be produced on the same manufacturing lines as our current vehicle lineup. So, yeah.
Yeah, and there was no updates at today's event on if that's happening. And this would be the event where you give that update. The only update we got was Cybercab 2026. But, I mean, again, we don't know if that's like officially happening. So your point, Neil, is that it's going to create impatience between buyers, because why would they spend a lot of money, 50, 60, 70,000 on a new car if they know they can get one for way cheaper than that? But that waiting might delay some sales. Now, maybe it doesn't, right? That's just like a hypothesis. But I think that the lack of clarity right there is the problem. I don't think anyone here on the stream is saying Tesla's a sell after this event. I mean, unless you're trying to time the market and you think it's going to go to 180, then do you. But I don't think anyone's saying it's a sell. I think we're just saying, I wish we had some more details.
I mean, it doesn't move the needle. Anyways, this thing doesn't move the needle. What does move the needle is, of course, the earnings report and call, and the next gen vehicles, first half of 2025. This will move the needle 26, 27, 28, and onwards. Plus, I mean, the Tesla energy side still doing very, very well. And yeah, circling back to what you said before, we've seen the new promotions, right? With the 0% APR if you buy FSD. So yeah, maybe they're pushing people to like lock in your Model 3, Model Ys today with FSD because, well, they want to reduce inventory. They want to make sure margins are correct when they start to produce the next gen vehicle. And I don't know, whenever that happens, I hope there's a big event, because remember, the refresh Model 3 had a tweet. That's about it. It's like, oh, surprise, refresh Model 3. Here you go. Take it. Okay, it's still a Model 3, but next year I am expecting another event to reveal the new lineups.
Yeah, and I mean, look, at the end of the day, like, I think the people at the event are having a lot of fun, and there's gonna be a lot of positive media coverage about this. It's the Wall Street guys that are gonna be talking about the details and lack of details, but I think the event was a success. I think they're gonna get a ton of media coverage from this. I think people are gonna be excited. I already see videos of people showing Optimus making them a drink. There's the car right here on the screen driving itself. Like it's going to be. That's a Model Y. That is a Model Y, not a Cybercab. So I think it is going to be interpreted well by people who care about Tesla. It is just a question of the big guys if they think this is enough to initiate a buy on the stock. All right, I think that's it. Vince, any last thoughts?
I'm collecting them. I mean, it was very good observation by Neil that most probably there is a new car announcement coming sometime in 2025. And yeah, I mean, as maybe like people don't like to hear it, but I'm very happy with the outcome of the event, that the stock didn't skyrocket, because I really want to sell puts on Tesla and buy some shares possibly. And I think it was a good event. If Elon would not be holding these events, then I don't know what catalyst there would be for the stock, because if they don't do these events, then it's just a declining car company with decreasing margins and not growing sales. So I understand why they have to do these events, because Elon actually does care about the stock price, contrary to what people think. I mean, look, this event made the stock go from like 200 to 250, and now we're back to 230. It's still a net positive. It's higher than 200.
Yeah, and look, unsupervised coming to Texas and California 2025. So even if it's June 2025, right, second half of the year, that's still a big deal. That's good. And
I mean,
that'll begin there. Go ahead.
We can thank Cruise and Waymo, although a lot of Tesla folks might not like them because LiDAR, look at the, but they are leading the way towards making sure regulatory approval is possible because they already exist today. That's the thing. People need to understand you can today order a Cruise or a Waymo, get in the car. There is no driver. Okay. It brings you to point A. From point A to point B, there is no driver. So these things already exist. Now, when are we actually going to see Tesla doing that? Well, hopefully in the next 12 months. Yes, maybe just in these two locations to start with, but it's already a pretty good start. Plus, monetizing FSD. Well, they're already monetizing FSD because you have to buy the software to use it. So it's not like they're giving it away for free.
Just want to say that the Waymo solution is not a scalable solution. So when Tesla actually comes out with their, and by scalable, I mean that the car, like with all the sensors, is like $150,000 per car, and the Teslas would be $30,000 per car that the customers pay for, and then they just put it on the Tesla robot. And even if Tesla pays for it, it's 1/5 the cost. So they're going to mop the floor with competition when they do achieve this.
Waymo doesn't make the cars, right? It's Hyundai that makes the cars, so they have to figure out the cost. But yeah, the LiDAR or the cameras, it's a costly thing. But I would expect when they scale up, it becomes less costly for them. And I assume that every new iteration becomes cheaper and cheaper, and maybe they will finally figure out as well a way to make it cheaper. But yeah, I agree. The cost right now is much higher.
Yeah, I don't think it will be a real competition once like Tesla manages to do their own FSD, just because of the scale. It's very similar to Rocket Lab going into the the end-to-end space, whereas like others buying all the services themselves, because it's like Waymo only has this but they have the software and they don't have the cars, they don't have the sensors, right? And then Tesla can make everything themselves. And it's like, I would not want to compete with that.
Yeah, I agree. Again, I think Tesla has the data advantage, as you're talking about, Vince, which is going to allow them to scale in a more proprietary and faster way.
Just want to say, while we're seeing Elon Musk, do you know how I know that this was a rebranding event, that they're rebranding to AI?
Yes,
because of the
leather jacket.
Because of the jacket, exactly. That was the giveaway.
Why do you think he wore the leather jacket?
It's the rebranding. He's the Jensen number 2 now.
Interesting. I thought Elon, has he worn a leather jacket before?
Yeah, yes.
Yes. Okay, so it's not a new thing.
It's his style. I don't know. Maybe in Texas, leather jacket, boots, a hat, stuff like that. I don't know. He could have come out with a gold chain, Zuck style, but no, he went Jensen. Okay, respect.
Do you think Uber's dead after this announcement?
No.
No, I'm not in conversation so many times with Carlos. I don't think it's dead. I still think it's a good distribution channel. I mean, many people. How many apps do you need on your phone? God damn it! I mean, Tesla drivers, they will still offer themselves, I think, on the Uber app, because you think about ride sharing, you think about Uber, just like you think about searching, you think about Google, and I mean Airbnb. You're looking for a place to stay, you think about Airbnb. Plus, not everybody is going to own a Tesla, I assume. So yeah. But I don't know, maybe 10, 15 years from now, Uber is dead and I'm completely wrong. But then I'll probably be a millionaire in Tesla shares, so that's great.
All right, I think that's it. Neil and Vince, thank you for joining me. Really appreciate it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Maybe you guys can get some more sleep right now. I'm wide awake. It's sunny in India, so I'm about to go drink some chai from my grandmother's hands and enjoy the rest of the vacation. But thank you guys for being here. I'll stay on for like another couple minutes, and then we'll end the stream. And yeah, we'll see what happens tomorrow, guys. No market open from me tomorrow or market close. Tomorrow's Friday. So I'll be back probably Monday. So you guys won't see me for the next 3 days, but I'll be on Twitter. So you can follow me on Twitter. Neil's Twitter and Vince's Twitter is also in the description. Let me put it in the chat right now so you can check them out. And we'll keep the ongoing coverage of Tesla for the next, foreseeable future. Definitely tomorrow. I mean, put in the chat what price you think it's going to open at. I don't know. It's at 230 with 1 million shares of volume on Robinhood. Kind of feel like that 230 range, 230, 235 is what we see, but maybe it goes lower or pumps.
Yeah. Are you back for before Tesla's earnings report?
Yeah, I'll be back October 21st. So I'll be back the week of big tech earnings. So as soon as I'm back, we will get into all the good stuff. But this last week, I'll be in India.
Can you film yourself explaining to your grandmother what you do for a living and just like her reactions and stuff?
Dude, she was. I was just talking with my uncle, and she was just sitting with us, and I'm talking to him, and my uncle loves stocks, so we're talking about stocks, and she grabs me, and she's like, "Can you just slow down? can you like just slow?" It's like, I can't. You already speak English, like I can't understand anything you're saying, and I just gave her a big hug. I was just, one thing I've been doing over the past couple. This was a very inconvenient time for me to go to India because there's a Robinhood event, Tesla event. It's just like October is a big, month for stocks. But I came here because she's getting old, right? She's getting old. And when family's getting old, you just don't know how long you have. So every day I wake up and I give her a hug and I'm just like, soaking it in because it's just one of those things where you don't know how much time you always have with people. So having said that, hopefully we get more details in the next coming months. Hopefully we learn more about Tesla. But at the end of the day, Elon's going for something super visionary. He's going for something super bold. And if he's going for something super bold and super visionary, the question simply becomes, is Wall Street going to be able to back up that vision? I think they will. There's enough liquidity in the world to back up Tesla's vision. But they're going to need some details on if that vision actually plays out.
Yeah, agreed. He might be late, but he delivers. So, I mean, that's the most important at the end of the day.
As Troy says, his grandmother calls him gay. Well, she is wondering why I'm not married yet. So maybe that's going through her head. Why is this guy not married yet? All right. Thank you guys. Vince, Neil, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.
Ciao.
Bye-bye.
All right, cool. That's it for me, folks. I will get out of here in just a couple minutes and we'll be done for the day. Yeah, dude, again, when it comes to Tesla, you guys know I'm not